Hey everybody, and welcome to another Interstellar Modeler. Well, in this video what I'm going to do is share this little project with you. This is something I came across unexpectedly while I was at Target the other day. This is a Star Wars 31-inch Force Awakens Stormtrooper that was marked down 30%. It's the last one they had left, and it was a little scuffed up. And for 24 bucks I decided to buy it, take it home. And as I was looking at it, and this is what the figure looked like, I didn't take any pictures of it while it was in the package. You can see it was pretty simple pose, it has 6 points of articulation. And I was just looking it over, thinking I could do something to it just to make it look a little bit better. So you can see I'm already well into the project here, and the first step was really just to give it a paint job. So what I did was I used an adhesion promoter first, and then applied this color called Universal White by Duplicolor. Now I decided not to go with a gloss color, rather I used a matte finish because I wanted to go ahead and apply some weathering, and I thought it'd be better to have a matte surface to work with versus that of a glossy surface. So I've already started with a wash. I began here with the chest area. I'm going to proceed forward with the rest of him. The other thing you can see is that I've cut off one of the arms, and that's because it comes with just a very simple pose here. I wanted to make it look a little more dramatic, so kind of torn whether or not to have the arm up this way or just to have him cradling the laser, so I'm not sure yet, but I just cut off the section that was here, and I have a couple ideas of how to reattach it and to fill in the elbow portion. But before I do that, we're going to go ahead and finish up the wash, add some more weathering, and I do plan on adding the blood streaks here that was on Finn's helmet after the battle. So let's go ahead and continue on. The challenging thing was to reattach his arm, and what I decided to finally do was to take 2 rods of plastic, and there's a piece of plastic inside here that kind of is like a lip, and I just drilled a hole that connected that end to the arm here. So just 2 rods that are glued inside here connect to the forearm here. And then what I'm doing now is I'm covering it with this epoxy putty, and I didn't get enough of it, so that's why it's not all covered yet. Kind of looks like he's got a really skinny arm, but I'm going to fill the rest of it in, and this stuff hardens, and so it should fill out the rest of the elbow there. And then once that's done and hardened, I'll paint it black. Okay, and this is how the arm is turning out here. So as you saw, I had the gray epoxy putty there, and I ran out of that stuff, so I didn't have time to go back to Harbor Freight, which is where I got that stuff, and then I went to Ace Hardware instead, and then they had this plastic weld on hand, so I went ahead and bought this stuff. So I've never really worked with this stuff before, and what you do is you just break off a piece, you knead it together with your fingers, you get a nice even coloration, and then you can apply it to whatever surface you want to work with, and then you can start molding it and shaping it. You have about 15 minutes before it really starts to harden up, and you can wet the surface to kind of smooth it over. So again, my goal here was to create these lines and striations here to match that accordion sort of appearance that you have in the elbow there, and it is going to be painted black, so hopefully when it's all done it'll just kind of blend together. So that's what I did here, is I applied enough to fill in the elbow section here, and then I used a popsicle stick like this, as well as another tool to create the striations that you see there. So I know this is not 100% perfect, but I think it'll do. We're going to paint it black, and we are going to face the figure with the elbow away from us, so hopefully that'll blend in nicely. Alright, so I'm going to give enough time to cure and dry, and then I'll paint it black, and then I will show you what he looks like when he's completed. Okay everybody, and here we now have the finished project. Again, this is a customized version of the 31-inch First Order Stormtrooper by Jakks, that's J-A-K-K-S. These were commonly found in stores right after the release of Star Wars. You can't really find them in stores as easily anymore, but you can still find them online. So the main goal, of course, here was to make the figure look a lot better. First of all, the figure comes with a dull white finish, which makes it look very much like a toy. So we need to do something about that. Also wanted to make the figure look a little more interesting, because as you recall, it had a very basic pose with the arms to the sides. We now have the figure cradling the rifle, as you see here. And then, of course, the other thing I wanted to add was surface detailing, including the blood red stripes, so we can replicate what we saw in the movie. So just a review here with regard to the detailing here, I thought the wash worked pretty well to really give us the grunge that we needed all around the bodysuit and the helmet. Most of this was done with the wash and taking the brush and dabbing it along the surface there. Also used Tamiya's weathering kit here to add some of the scuffs here along the shoulder. And I used the wash to dirty up the rifle as well. The other thing I was very happy with was the way the plastic putty worked to create this elbow piece here, even though it doesn't resemble 100% the opposite side there. I think it's a pretty effective way of creating that arm piece. We're going to be displaying the figure with the elbow away from us, so it's not really that noticeable. Now, I wanted to show you on the back side of the figure, you can see there are a number of holes here. These are screws that hold the figure together. And since first filming the build of this figure here, I actually have constructed a second one. And you can see here that I effectively covered those holes with the plastic putty. So I may eventually go back to this one because I'm going to give one of these away as a gift later this year. And but you can see that the plastic putty worked really well, and that stuff adheres real nicely to this plastic material. So you basically put the putty into the holes there, you sand it, and then I primed it first with a light gray primer and then applied the white. And that helps to cover, because the plastic putty is kind of a bluish gray color, and it does dry that way, so it's a little bit different obviously than the white surface, so you're going to have to prime that so that everything blends together. But you can see the figures are very similar. Obviously I couldn't quite exactly match the stripes on the helmet from one to the other there, but they're very close. And so I thought it'd be interesting to share this project with you because, you know, there are a number of these figures that show up in the store, and no doubt we're going to see more of them because we have yet another Star Wars film coming out at the end of the year. So if you have a child or a grandchild who's really into Star Wars, you know, some of these figures come out and they kind of look dull, you know, kind of boring, and you can use your modeling skills and painting skills to make it look a bit more special, and I think it would make a great gift to anybody who's really into the franchise. Alright guys, well there you have it for this project. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me at interstellarmodeler@gmail.com or leave a comment here on my YouTube channel. As always, thanks again for watching, and I will see you then in the next one. Take care.